Before we get into the video, I want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Skillshare.
Hey! The podcast is ready! What is up, everybody? Woo!
Boom.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Clip it. What is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday here at Hyper RPG. How are you doing?
How are you doing?
How are you today? Happy new oh, wait. Yeah, not really. Shit.
Only a couple weeks.
Couple weeks.
I think it's actually next Wednesday that we're getting new comics.
It's kind of like New Comic Book Day, though,
no,
because
it's 27th, I think,
Humble Bundle
actually.
dropped an amazing comic bundle today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the Joe Hill comic book bundle.
Sick.
Yeah, dude.
I'm about
seriously,
that.
hit up our Discord. Vash is always really good about putting those down. There'll be a link in our chat room, but they just released the Joe Hill. Actually, pull up Humble Bundle right now.
Sure.
We can show it on your screen. We have an affiliate link with Humble Bundle. We don't bring this up too often, but you can use our link in the chat. But if you go to the comic section, it'll do a breakdown for you. Let me know when you got it up, and I'll cut to you. But it's a dope bundle. It's got all of Lock and Key. It's got the cape in there. It's got some stuff I haven't read.
Here you go, baby.
I'm excited to check this out. Look at this bundle.
Joe Hill's Lock and Key and More by IDW.
Look at all those books. Keep scrolling. Just keep going, baby.
Look at this.
It's hundreds of dollars worth of books. So it's kind of like New Comic Book Day because this is one of my favorite drops that Humble Bundle's done for comic books. It's awesome. It's awesome. And, of course, as always here at HyperRPG, there are many different ways that you can support us by going to hyperrpg.live or oneshot.straylogic.com. If you go to oneshot.straylogic.com, you will notice that there are 6 current options. And once Cookie Quest starts, there'll be a lot more.
Yeah.
But ways that you can interact with the channel by tipping and using the hashtags that are available to vote for next Wednesday's movie and next Wednesday's food.
Yeah.
So not just can you vote today on the movie, but also the food.
Which, like, one of the options is Stranger Things waffles. 11's waffles from Stranger Things.
You know Malika's going to go extra on that.
Oh, they're going to be so good.
She's going to go extra on that. That will not be an Eggo.
That wasn't going to be no Eggo waffles.
That ain't going to be no Eggo. She's going to go so extra on it. If Malika is anything, it's extra.
Yeah.
And she
will
do that.
So tasty, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. She will go all out. So make sure to hit up the oneshot.straylogic.com store so you can support the channel directly and make your voice heard by picking what we will do next Wednesday.
I'm actually really pumped about all 6 of these things. So I'm just going to go through them. We've got 3 movie options. 1, Empire Strikes Back on Disney+.
Let me give you that close-up, baby. Boop.
Hi.
Oh, come on. You always do this. I set the camera when you're working on your computer, and then we go live, and you're like, oh, hey, look, I'm using my on-camera posture.
Hello there. Nice to see you. Hope you're enjoying the show.
All that really shows is you really need to work on your posture, man.
I know, because I'm always like this. I'm always like...
I always set the camera before the show.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So the movie choices for next Wednesday, we've got The Empire Strikes Back, which is on Disney+. Next week, I believe, next Thursday is the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back, so that's pretty fun.
Wow.
You Were Never Really Here is on Amazon Prime. It's an amazing film directed by Lynn Ramsey, starring Joaquin Phoenix in a performance that I think is probably like one of the better performances I've seen in recent years from almost any actor. And I also did think he was great in The Joker as well. Not a fan of the movie necessarily. And then Logan Lucky, which is Steven Soderbergh's movie he did a few years back with Daniel Craig, Riley Cuff, and Adam Driver.
Can I say Daniel Craig in that movie is fire.
Yeah.
He is so good
Yeah.
in that movie.
Yeah,
He's so
super good. Super good. Yeah, I really enjoyed that movie. I ended up watching it just kind of like on streaming one day. I was like, dude, I don't buy this movie. It's so great. Then the choices for cooking, Stranger Things, 11's waffles. I'm sure, like Zach was saying, Malika will definitely like make those extra good for us. New York cookies from Ghostbusters and lavender dumplings from Skyrim.
All of those sound delicious.
Options.
Those sound great.
I'm about that.
Yeah, man. So that's the ways that you can support and also pick next week. Now, I know that a lot of you were really wanting that really tall Scooby-Doo sandwich today. But because we didn't vote yesterday for what's next Tuesday, I say she just moves it to next Tuesday.
I'm fine with that.
And the reason is, Malika had a lot to do today.
Yeah.
And,
she was just working down here like 3 minutes before we went live. Yeah.
And had to go upstairs for a phone call. So as people start opening up around the country, her workload is just getting bigger and bigger as her requirements are getting bigger and bigger. But also, like right now, she has a lot of requirements to lock in her health insurance a certain way and some of her paperwork, and things keep changing. Like this wonderful little piece of thing that we got today. COVID-19 is just like, it's affecting so many things.
Yeah.
And we got an email today. We just signed up for a new payroll company and new workers' comp insurance. And workers' comp insurance is something here at Hyper that we have had so many issues with over the years. Like, we've overpaid thousands of dollars before. And, you know, we've had people claim unemployment stuff. Nobody, you know, it's interesting because somebody could technically work here in regards to unemployment. Somebody could do like one show here for a couple hours as a private contractor, and they can declare unemployment. And it raises rates on stuff for us, and that's happened. And it's not at the fault of the people doing it. If they need the help, you know, that's what it's there for.
Yeah.
But it's just like these things are always changing. We're always navigating them. And we got an email today saying on May 6th, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed Executive Order N-62-20, which will allow any California employee, not just those designated essential, working outside the home to file a workers' compensation claim if they test positive for COVID-19. Employers must file the claim with their workers' comp insurance carrier, not a health insurance provider, and the burden will rest on the employer to prove that the employee did not contract the coronavirus while on the job. While there are still unknowns about how this new law will work in practice, we're encouraging you to visit our COVID-19 business insurance fact for a more in-depth look at everything we know so far, and we'll update the fact as new information comes to light. That, like, makes us, like, how does that not make you more nervous as a company? Like, we've already talked sometimes about, like, what liability there is if we just go, okay, cast, come on back in here. All you private contractors, rush back into our studio. And it wasn't that long ago that people were like, you wouldn't be liable. Don't worry. You're not liable at all. And the way that email reads is kind of like, you're kind of liable if they get COVID-19 at work. How do you even prove that?
Yeah, right.
How do you, the words right there, you must, the burden will rest with the employer to prove that the employee did not contract coronavirus while on the job. How do you even fucking prove that? How do you prove?
That sounds like an impossibility and a horrible pain in the ass.
How?
That's wild. That in my eyes, that to me is like almost signaling businesses to not let employees back into the door.
Exactly. Because as a small business, we read that and we're like, yo, what the fuck?
Oh, what the fuck? Hell no. Get out of here. You ain't never coming back.
What? I mean, but to say even testing all employees, how could you prove that? Because it's like, oh, what if it's not an employee? What if it's something that came in the mail to your business?
Yeah.
What if it's something that's someone else who interacted with your business? Like,
yeah, what if they had an interaction with someone and ended up giving it to everybody else, but then we're responsible for it? Yeah.
And, you know, so it's and as of what was yesterday, there was a Los Angeles Times article saying that California may put stay-at-home orders in place until July now.
Yeah.
Mid-July.
And
so
I know
some 3 more months.
Yeah, and I know some businesses are already talking about, like, I think was it Twitter and I think Google and Facebook or somebody, you know, they said that, like, no, we're working from home for the rest of the year pretty much. And I'm sure that there will be more businesses that are going to follow suit that don't have to be in a centralized location. I think that's going to kind of become the new norm, which will be very interesting to see how that affects business, whether that will be up, down, all around. I don't know. That's going to be very interesting to see because I think, like, despite the fact that I think people really do enjoy being in their social environments, I think a lot of people who want to continue practicing safe social distancing, I really do wonder how that's going to affect productivity.
Yeah.
I imagine that it will either stay the same or go up because I think if people are in the comfort of their own home, they will want to get work done quicker, but who knows? It could go the other way as well.
I think it depends on the job completely.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the newest things that was coming out about California's problem with managing the coronavirus right now, I think it was either San Francisco or San Diego. I can't remember which city. It was one of the Sans. That 90% of the people who tested positive had been having to leave home to go into work. And 99% of the newest positive cases were Latino. And 90% of them said they could not stay home. They had to go to work.
Wow.
They can't work from home. And this is something that California is really having an issue with right now as far as spread is concerned, in that a lot of people can't afford to work from home. Those jobs that they're doing have
to be done.
Yeah, they're jobs that have to be done on location, and it's causing it's causing our spread to not, like, it's like it's steady.
Yeah.
It's not peaking, but it's not going down either. And this is, I think, something that the newest data is showing in that the stay-at-home's working, but a lot of people can't stay home.
Yeah.
So it's like when 90% of your cases are from people who are having to go into work, and that's how the spread's happening. It's like, whew.
Yeah, I know they did talk a lot about, well, at least from what I remember reading from the LA Times, I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing, but they talked about, businesses that do have to go back into the workplace. They're going to be having there will be a lot of guidelines that will need to be met in order for people to actually be able to go back into the office.
Right, and how's that going to work?
Yeah, and then like it goes way beyond just separating desks. I mean, it's a whole thing of like just a whole process.
And again, how many small companies like us are just going to be like, yeah, we can't, it's not worth it. We can't afford to do that, so we're going to hold off. Yeah. And I think you're going to find here at Hyper, one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about today, if there's a 3-month longer stay-at-home order, that's 3 more months of us not having talent in this studio. That's just like the bare minimum of that requirement there. We're not going to have independent contractors coming into our studio for sure. Like we can protect insurance-wise and prepare a little bit more for full-time employees, but private contractors, it's just like, oh, sweet Jesus, how are we going to deal with this?
Yeah.
So, we're following the guidance of our state, and we're going to do the best we can. And we're going to keep trying to provide you guys with entertaining content. And maybe you'll see certain people we work with showing up on Cookie Quest where they can socially distance away from our office.
Yeah.
But even that, I'm like, shit, are we liable for that? Like, I don't
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know,
I think Matt and Brandon have done a good job so far socially distancing from themselves.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Everybody's like, they're being great.
I think that's one advantage of the outdoor environment is like there's more opportunity for that to happen. Whereas if we're here in the garage, there's only so many corners you can go in before everybody's going to be touching elbows at some point, and then it becomes a little bit of a problemo.
Yeah. And Crockabilly asking, have there been talks about using Zoom or something similar to do the RPG content? No, I won't do it. Okay, so there's the talks. No, I won't do it. We've discussed internally, and nobody here wants to subject our quality level for that when we can keep making good content with you right here like we're doing that works and that gets closer to the community. I will not sacrifice our vision for certain shows just to be making shit that we're not proud of. This job requires so much sacrifice with what we do. If we're not proud of it, there's no fucking point in doing it. So there's no reason in us putting our blood, sweat, and tears into something that at the end we're like, yeah, we're not happy with that. And we've been using Zoom for interviews and stuff like that. And even in those interviews, you can see how hard it is. If somebody has a phone placed a certain way or the mic's not placed the right way, how hard it can be. Especially the way we do RPGs at Hyper, which require a ton of technical achievement and a lot of coordination between the GM and the players at the table and things like that. Like,
all that will be lost.
It would be lost. And I would never feel comfortable doing co-loc over Zoom. Not even close. So many of the cues, it's a very dark show, and we have a lot of communication that's not seen on camera. We're aware when the camera's not on us, and we're making eye contact with each other. We're giving each other like nods because the show goes to really dark places. And I don't want to have to navigate that space in that Zoom environment where we're all kind of unsure of the signals we're sending each other. And I know that there are tools to help with that, but those tools, though might work for other people, I don't trust in that environment. I don't want to be in that position. I don't want my players to be in that position. I want us to be able to communicate to the best of our ability to put the best show on as possible. And all that being said, I'm proud of the shit we're doing right now. We're still Hyper RPG. We are still journeying onward. We are still getting out there and making good shit and innovating and coming up with new ideas. And we're putting ourselves in front of the camera more than we ever have since this company started to survive. And I like a lot of it. I've gotten to know you better. I feel like I lost touch with you for a long time because work got in the way and we put so many other people in front. I've really enjoyed getting back in touch with you all in the community and these clubhouses that we're doing on the weekend.
It's my week, baby.
And the IRL streams. I want us to keep doing that. And even when things start to come back, and I know I've said this on another Hypercast, there is no normal. So when people ask, when are you guys going to get back to normal? When are you going to start doing these things again? There isn't. And we never will. Certain shows will come back. Kolok's obviously my baby. And we put way too much money and work into Warhammer to not bring it back, blood, sweat, and tears into that show and that system. Those things will eventually come back, but there is no such thing as normal. There's only the future and where we're headed. And I've been really proud of our team and how we've adapted and how we're continuing to be safe and follow proper guidelines and be the best company that we can be in the midst of all this. I would love to prop up and help every single person who's a friend of ours. That has been our mission as a company for so long. And I wish we could help more in these times. But I also know if HyperRPG ceases to exist, then there'd be no chance to help them again in the future. So as of right now, we're doing everything in our power to make HyperRPG survive and be the best company that can be, in the hopes that once all this stuff goes away, we can get back to producing big shows, hiring our friends to come in and be on those big shows, which is always like the best thing that we can do. Having people come in for a weekly show oftentimes is like they're putting in themselves at a sacrifice because those shows don't pay that well. But we know when people are good to us and when they treat us right, and we want to return that favor. So we love hiring people when big gigs come through and giving them the right payment, Mm-hmm. And that's a bigger goal for us, is protecting ourselves for the future to be able to do that again. And I, of course, miss storytelling. Like, holy shit. I miss storytelling.
Yeah.
I'm a storyteller.
It's like the core of what we do.
Yeah. I want.
Sorry. That was me.
I want to be doing that. I really do. And I miss doing Kolok every Monday. But I'm not going to sacrifice that joy for like half of it. Mm-hmm. I'm way too hard on myself. There's no way I could do Kolok at 50%. Like, that doesn't, like, even saying that out loud, I'm like, you guys know me. I wouldn't do that. I would not be comfortable with that. I would fucking hate myself. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I'd be like, what are we doing? This is bullshit.
Why did I agree to this?
Yeah. And I think, there's a lot of stuff that we have on Evergreen, and if there's shows that you missed, now is a great time to go back and check them out. Mm-hmm. And our collections on our YouTube, if there's certain RPGs, because I doubt you've watched all our RPGs, and you'd be surprised how many gems are hiding in there. How many real gems are hiding in there that you can go back and check out. But I'm not going to sacrifice our quality, especially when it comes to those types of shows. But we'll keep innovating, and we'll keep coming up with new shit, and we'll keep making certain things that we're doing right now better.
I mean, Cookie Quest is would have never been born if it wasn't for this,
definitely not.
This challenge of how do we do something fun? How do we go get outdoors safely, and how do we get at least Lucas out of the house, because that poor boy's been locked up for a while. But yeah, I think a lot of the times creators tend to be the most creative when they have the most restrictions, because you have to be extremely creative with how to get over obstacles and get over hurdles.
Yeah.
And I think we're trying that every day. We're trying that every week, whether it comes to the tech or just the show concept itself. Like an idea like Cookie Quest going on an IRL scavenger hunt. I don't know if we would have necessarily thought about that if we would have had regular programming. It would have probably taken us longer to get there.
And I know I'm going to kind of reflect back on what Aaron had said about something I've mentioned before about when we have partners tune in and they see our quality level. This is something that's uniquely a problem for us. We have so many things going on right now on the back end that we can't tell you about. All I can tell you is there are people paying attention to us that we have to impress. There's an extra pressure there. I feel that pressure. We feel a constant pressure to give 100% of our best, because the future of our company and certain brands and businesses that we're in communication with are paying attention to us right now. And they're asking us questions. And they're looking to us. We have to put our best foot forward, always. And that's why I do get so frustrated when tech messes up, or when certain things don't work the right way when they're supposed to, because you never know who might be watching. Mm-hmm. And I know who are watching. But the amount of people who lurk in our chat and never say a word, but they're watching, and I know because they'll bring up certain things that we did in emails. Yeah. We'll be in the middle of a business meeting. They'll be like, oh, I saw that thing that you did. And I'm like, fucking shit. The pressure. They're always watching. They're not, like me saying this right now, there's probably somebody who on Friday is going to bring up at a meeting like,
I heard that thing you said on Wednesday.
Are you talking about me? I'm like, I guess I am.
You said it, not me.
They're always watching. And, we have to hold ourselves to a different quality standard. That's just the truth. And to some extent, I understand that some people that we work with might not be as hard on our quality standard as I am on our quality standard. But the frustration I feel with some of this tech stuff, I've done a Zoom game. It's fine and all, but like we are more than that. And I want us to be the best at that. I want us to be the innovators. And if I come up with the right way, if I come up with a way that makes me feel extremely comfortable, and I'm working on it, all right? I am working on it. I am in constant communication with some of these companies trying to get them to up their fucking game. And one company in particular right now I'm having back and forth emails with about certain quality standards that I have and certain restrictions that I need put into place to get the best situation out of this. And if I can make that all work, maybe we'll do something. But it won't be Kolok, and it sure as fuck won't be Warhammer, but it might be something. But I have certain things that I need to make sure that those things can go over well. Me doing 6 duplicated crops of something, and in that regard, I need a board op. You know, like I have to have a board op to handle that system load and to switching between all these things. But, you know, there's just so many variables in that. And it's got to be perfect. It's got to be good. It's got to be good. Something that I'm proud of. Because if I'm not proud of it, what's the point in doing it? And I mean that wholeheartedly. We work too hard here, way too hard, to not have ultimate pride in anything we're doing. Mm-hmm. And we've had these conversations as a team before where we've been like, are any of us proud of this? And if everyone says no, we're done. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not worth that for us, you know? Like, I think all of us here have that kind of attitude because none of us are getting paid well enough, and we're making too many sacrifices. And
it's also just like a time thing.
Yeah.
Like, we can be using our time for something that we're super proud of instead of wasting time on something that we're like, It keeps the audience entertained. It's like, no, well, let's just make something that people actually like.
And this is,
really love.
Believe me, this is one of the hardest things for us is finding that balance of things we can be proud of and things you're super into. Because sometimes you guys like shit that we hate. Or sometimes there's shit that we love so much and we're so proud of and nobody watches.
And we're like, what the fuck? God damn it.
Yeah. And we're just like, oh, we're so proud of this, but nobody's watching. And that is always one of the biggest challenges with this kind of content is finding that balance of both.
Yeah, like Trivia Hops.
Yeah, fuck that show. Yeah, you know, like that stupid show that people bring up. But any like viewer who's new within the last 2 years was like, "What are you talking about?
Can you tell what those things are?" No,
no, fuck no. Why do you guys like to start drama? Get out of here.
No
with that
tea
shit.
to be spilled here.
No, we don't spill tea because that's how people take it. If we could talk openly about that stuff, that'd be great. But people take it as drama and they make it drama.
And then you log on to Twitter and you're like, oh, God.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I don't need this. Now, before we go any further, I do want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Skillshare, back again with another amazing deal for the Thumper community. I know we continue to live in uncertain times and we're learning new things every day and we think we're out of this, but then we're not out of it, but then we're back in it again. And I know it can be very stressful and I know it can be a little overwhelming, but the beautiful thing about an amazing community like Skillshare is that we can find creative ways to take all that energy and output it back into the world positively and maybe inspire some people to also embrace creativity. Whether you're experiencing boredom, whether you're experiencing stress or some form of being anxious, I think using content as escapism and the craft of creating content as escapism is an amazing opportunity for you to maybe discover something new about yourself. And because of something like Skillshare, we have an amazing opportunity to learn from some of the best and become the best at the thing that we love most. For me as a YouTuber and the rest of the team, it's really important to us to kind of stay on top of the trend of how the platform is constantly evolving. So 2 classes that I've really been doing a deep dive into that I think have been incredibly valuable for me is YouTube Analytics and SEO Masterclass and advertising your business on YouTube with Google Ads. There's so much creative opportunity on the platform. There's so many amazing people, and I really, really, truly do think that right now is the perfect time for you to take advantage of that. Skillshare is hooking it up for the first 1,000 people that go down into the description of this video. Click that link and you'll get 2 months. That's two months of premium Skillshare for free. Outside of that, you're more than welcome to join Skillshare for less than $10 per month. Trust me, it is worth it. It is valuable. You will get something out of it. I promise. Go out there, go create, learn something new, have fun. Of all things, just have fun, man. All right, let's get back to the video. Hey, man, I got some good news for you.
What's up? New Mutants.
No, even better news.
Oh! Better news than New Mutants?
Yeah. I'm going to read the headline for you.
Okay, hold on.
Wong Kar-wai's new film Blossoms set to shoot in July.
Ooh.
Hong Kong auteur Wong Kar-wai's new film Blossoms is set to start shooting in mainland China's Hengqin World Studios from July. The production company has reportedly rented space, sprawling studio in coastal Zhejiang province for 11 months, from May of this year to March 2021.
Jesus. We're not going to see this movie for 3 years.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. They talk about it here. They talk about how
3 years. His post-process is so long.
Yeah, this has been his first film since 2013's The Grandmaster, and only his 11th in more than 3 decades. It's an adaptation of the eponymous 2012 novel by Jin Yu Chang, one of the few authors writing directly in the local dialect of Shanghainese, and tells the story of a young man looking for status and romance in the boom years of 1990s China.
Oh, 90s China. He loves his 90s China.
Wong has previously called the film a deeply personal return to his hometown of Shanghai, saying that he's been developing the script for the past 5 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's going to be 3 years before we see that movie.
Yeah, it says right here, his iconic In the Mood for Love took 15 months to create, while 2046 took nearly 5 years. The 1984 martial arts epic Ashes of Time took a grueling 2-year shoot in the desert, while 2013's The Grandmaster came out 15 years after Wong first began work on the project. Fuck.
Yeah, and let's not forget, In the Mood for Love originally was going to be a musical.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Post, it turned into a completely different movie. It's wild. Yeah, his post-process is usually really long.
So we'll see. I mean, if production itself doesn't conclude until March 2021, we may not see this movie till either end of that year or 2022.
Probably 2022.
Yeah.
To be totally honest.
That's wild.
Yeah, but I'll be hyped. But coming out sooner is New Mutants. Supposedly. They tweeted today.
They did tweet today.
They did tweet. August 24th?
They tweeted that New Mutants is coming out on... Where the hell is this new date?
On the poster. It's on the image.
Jesus. Why is this article so confusing? Why would you not just put this like in the headline
The tweet
somewhere?
just had the picture.
It's like August 28th or something, yeah.
28th or something like that?
Yeah.
Supposedly, allegedly.
Yep.
Allegedly, New Mutants coming out in theaters.
Yeah.
In August, not to VOD like the last rumor said.
Yeah. I think like the whole.
Are they just fucking with us at this point?
This is the thing that really annoys me about the whole thing is like I think we all want to watch New Mutants. I still don't understand why we're banking on movie theaters opening with Tenet. I don't know why we're still banking on this. Like, Warner Brothers is supposed to make a decision. I thought it was supposed to be by the end of last week, but it might be the end of this week, whether or not they're going to push the release of that movie. If they push the release of that movie, I think they're going to shift the release dates of Wonder Woman and a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
So I think, like, why would you even schedule this in August? At this point, you should just schedule for next year and be done with it. Because I think by January, for sure, theaters will be open in a different way than they will be at the end of this year. And I think like potentially more people will go to the theaters by January. But to open it in August, I'm like, at first when I was reading it, I was like, oh, so I guess they're putting it out digitally. They must be putting it on Hulu or Disney Plus. Nah, it's going to the theater. I don't know. I don't understand. We've had this movie that's now had like 5 shifts in its release date. 5 or 6 maybe. I don't know. Whoever's keeping tally, let me know. But I don't know. I just don't get it. I feel like you're setting it up to potentially die. Because if the theaters are barely open and we only have 25 to 50% capacity of people going.
Do you think they'll work out some kind of deal where it goes to digital quicker?
So here's actually an interesting thing that you bring that up. Scoob, I was reading, actually did that. So Scoob has been set up. It's coming out on May 15th, which I believe is Friday. Mm-hmm. And it's being set up as a premium video on demand, obviously. But Warner Brothers is working with other companies and distributors like Cineplex Odeon, Alamo Drafthouse, Studio Movie Grill, and a bunch of different places where you can actually rent it through them. And even though it'll redirect you to something like Fandango or whatever, the theaters will actually get 10% of the profit. So I think that this potentially could be a very good thing for the future for theaters, a potential new route for a lot of movies that are like, you know what, New Mutants, nah, we don't want to like, we're just gonna, cut our losses and we're just gonna put this movie out digitally. So AMC, Regal, all you guys, we're gonna make a deal, 10%. You guys get, profit share or whatever. We'll give you 10% of the revenue for whatever you make, as long as it's sold through your website. Then I think like that's fair. That's fair. And we talked about it a few weeks back how movie theaters, they don't really get to see a profit off ticket sales until the second week. The first weekend, it's like exclusively for the studio because that's when the biggest amount of people go watch all these movies. So by week 2, they're making money. But if the movie doesn't, if the movie drops 40%, 50%, 60% sometimes in ticket sales, then like the amount of money that a theater gets shrinks incredibly. But imagine if throughout the entire PVOD run of Scoob, whatever Regal or whoever, Alamo Drafthouse, however many sales they make, gets them 10% of revenue, then like
that's great.
That's something. That's something.
That's actually like really cool that they negotiated that.
Yeah.
And makes you wonder if more will do so.
Yeah, because I know
hope they do.
I know a lot of people were also talking about. So Disney announced that Hamilton is coming to Disney Plus.
Okay.
And it's coming on July 3rd. And it's almost a year ahead of the originally announced theatrical release. It was supposed to come out June or July next year.
What?
So
is it the same thing?
It's the same thing. So it's a recording of the Broadway play Hamilton that they did years ago with the original cast. But it was, I don't know in what way, but I've never seen it, so I don't know. But it was basically reconfigured into a movie. The plan was to release it theatrically next year. I think two things are the things that are kind of, I guess two, technically. I think COVID-19 obviously is the thing that pushed it forward.
Well, yeah.
Two, and I think this is even bigger than one, Disney Plus has no content. They have no content for the summer.
They need something.
They're drying.
They need something.
They're drying. The company itself, Disney, is losing money because none other parks are open, other movies are coming out. And their streaming platform doesn't have anything. And that doesn't, I'm not trying to take away from any of the new stuff that they have been dropping. Like, I think the Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian, is really cool. I think the prop show that they had is really cool, but they don't have anything huge and monumentally big that's going to move the dial on subscribers, like a Mandalorian, like a Winter Soldier Falcon or WandaVision show. Hamilton will definitely be something that will bring people in. For sure, no questions asked. I've never seen Hamilton.
Me either.
If it drops on Disney Plus on July 3rd, as a already known subscriber of the platform, you bet I'm going to watch it the first weekend. I will. And I know people will sign up for it because that musical has sold out in every city that it's so far been available. And I think it's only been in New York and I think in Los Angeles.
Is this like a movie version of Hamilton, or is it just a filming of the Broadway play?
Actually, the filming of the Broadway play. So I also don't. That's the thing too. Is like, what exactly does this thing look like? Because they've showed no footage of what the actual thing looks like. So will it look cinematic or will it just kind of look meh? All right. But I think that is a solve for Disney, how to get more content on Disney Plus. But yeah, how does Disney work that out with movie theaters? There is no way, really. You're pushing people literally to Disney Plus.
There's also Disney we're talking about here.
Exactly. So, if there was a perfect storm scenario where they tell Alamo, Regal, and all these different theaters, ArcLight, and all that stuff, hey, here's a referral link, which kind of sounds dumb because you're like, they're not like, it's a movie theater company. Like, you're gonna give them a referral link, okay? But you could technically set that up like, hey, if you purchase this through us, we get a percentage, and this helps us get theaters back up and running eventually. Mm-hmm. Then, I think it's very plausible. Will a company like Disney do that? I don't know. I don't know if it's a priority.
Somebody in the chat said, Exit Sequel said, they also said they shot some extra setup scenes and whatnot without an audience to help adapt it better and advance live capture of plays.
Oh, interesting. I'm interested to watch what it became, what it's become. After being a live musical. So I'm not against the idea. Disney apparently also, Peg Junk is saying Disney spent $125 million for the rights to the movie. I mean, yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But like, okay, I don't know. I can't say because I am not in the crowd of Hamilton lovers because I just I've never seen it. I've never listened to it. So I know there's almost everybody that we know in Los Angeles is like a diehard fan of this thing that majority of them have never seen because it was only playing in New York anyway.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know, like $125 million for the rights of this movie. Will it make that much money? I don't know. Like, is there a big enough audience of people that want to see Hamilton? I know it's sold out shows, but I know it has like a very limited run, right? I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like you'd be able to answer that better than I could.
We hang out with a bunch of actors.
Yeah.
And let's be real. They're different people.
Yeah.
You know, like, if I've learned anything
it would have to make at least
from
like,
my time in Los Angeles is that actors have different wants and wishes than average moviegoers.
Will it make $200 million, though? I think is the big question.
Yeah.
Like, could it? If it does, then great. Then, then it'll potentially bring in a ton of subscribers to Disney+. But then, like, the theater loses out huge on that. And now that will be the second studio that's kind of pulled one of these, theatrical first-run movies out of theaters. And so I don't know. I don't know, like, what the solve is. But I do think that what Warner Brothers is doing with Scoob in terms of, like, encouraging, these movie studios to – or these movie theaters, I should say, movie theater chains to go out there and say, like, hey, if you buy it through us, it helps support us, and we're getting a cut off of this, then, like, I think that's great. And I think if Warner Brothers kind of follows – I also think, like, Warner Brothers is a perfect example of a company who is, as much as they are a company that evolves, they are also very much old school with a lot of ways. I mean, look at the movies that they produce, and the way that they produce those movies. They still have a lot of old school techniques. It's one of the only studios that I'm still aware of that is like so gung-ho about shooting things on film.
Yeah.
And the fact that they let Chris Nolan shoot literally every movie that he makes on film exclusively, and they dump so much money into like archiving his movies, and the quality that they make all of his like Blu-ray presses and digital copies on is like, he's one filmmaker. I don't know how many studios are even doing that for another filmmaker, let alone like Warner Brothers is doing it for like Patty Jenkins and all these other people. So I'm excited to see what the evolution of that will be, and if other theater chains will be able to kind of, reap the benefits of that. That would be amazing. I think it'd be really cool if that started to happen. And, I don't know. We'll have to see. I think it's just going to continue to be an evolutionary process. But I know that some theaters in Japan have slowly started to open up. I think Toho Theaters is one of the theater chains in Japan that they started opening up. I know a lot of movie theaters across Europe are going to slowly start opening up. So we'll see. I think, again, it's going to also just come down to the comfort of the audience and whether or not they're ready to be subjected to going into a public place like that.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I personally am not excited, but I'm not like everybody else, and I don't consider my wants and wishes average. But I know that our chat room's interesting because our diehard audience eats this kind of stuff up.
Yeah.
But then we also know anytime we do that kind of content, nobody shows up overall. So I think it's like I feel like it's another one of those things that people who love it so much they scream it from rooftops.
Yeah.
And the people who are on it just don't say anything.
Yeah.
And they're indifferent.
Yeah, and I'm definitely curious to watch this thing, but I think like tying it back to New Mutants, I think sort of that's the interesting thing that I'm looking forward to seeing. If New Mutants does play theatrically, how will it do the first week, right? I think that's going to be the huge measure of success. If it opens incredibly low and they project it to open, like I think projections will play into it, but I don't think that they're anticipating a movie like the New Mutants to have longevity, right?
Yeah.
I think after the first week or two, it'll probably make the max that it would potentially make with theater capacity being what it is. I think after the second week, they might look at it and go like, great, now we should put it on PVOD and make it accessible to everyone. We will continue to give, some sort of revenue share to movie theaters that were playing it theatrically.
This idea of giving to movie theaters revenue share, it's smart for long term. I'm really going to be interested in seeing how many companies do this.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's got forethought to it.
Yeah.
Unless you're Disney Plus and your forethought is, we don't actually think movie theaters will survive.
Yeah.
So why give them money to help make them survive? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Whereas I could see other movie studios probably are heavily reliant
Yeah.
on the theater industry.
Yeah, and I know Warner Brothers in particular, mostly because I've gotten emails about it, they are trying really, really, really hard to push Scooby-Doo out there to as many people as they can, obviously. And they've been doing things like through TikTok and other social media platforms. Like, they're really trying to push it out there. So it's really advantageous for these theater chains to kind of jump on it to really encourage people to go to them for sales. Because no matter what, Warner Brothers is going to get money no matter what. So
Yeah.
they're fine. But I think at that point it's going to kind of be a battle of like what theater can generate the most sales and what theater desperately needs it the most. Maybe some of these like smaller theaters are doing okay, whereas some of the bigger ones are maybe suffering more or less. It kind of depends. So it'll be interesting to see, but I would love to know, if we can kind of get ahead of this and, once this comes out in the next 2-3 weeks to see, okay, what did Scoob do for theaters and what did it do revenue-wise in general for Warner Brothers and the project itself?
It's a good test.
It is, because I think Scooby-Doo is kind of like that interesting thing. It's different than Trolls. Trolls is very much like a modern thing that like kids today know. Scoob is a little different. Everyone who's us and older, they know Scooby-Doo, but like people that are like my brothers or my cousins' age, more importantly, who are in that 8 to 12 range, how well do they know Scooby-Doo? Do they care about Scooby-Doo? And is this movie going to be appealing to them? Is it really going to take parents to sit them down and say like, Scooby-Doo, here's why he's great, or here's why the characters are great? It's an interesting movie because it can potentially either be very tough to get people on board on, or it's going to generally hit really well. Whereas I think like Trolls, that movie did really freaking well digitally, which if Scooby-Doo can do that, then awesome. Then hopefully more theaters can kind of share some of that revenue. And yes, Scooby-Doo is iconic to us, but to 8 to 12-year-olds, like
I don't know.
Where do they play reruns of Scooby-Doo now?
I don't know.
Like if you don't
because we're too old, we don't really know the answers.
Yeah,
to
like
these
if
questions.
you don't have Cartoon Network, or if you don't have access to some of like.
For those of you in the audience who have kids, do you feel like Scooby-Doo is still relevant with a younger audience? Because I know quite a few people in our audience do have youngins, younglings that
like
watch TV and stuff.
Do your kids know about Scooby-Doo? How do they know about Scooby-Doo? Like we don't have cable here, so we don't. Yeah, for me, it's like if I want to watch Scooby-Doo, I watch it on YouTube, or I go to some like website, or I buy the Blu-ray of the whole show. You poor suckers.
Finn Skater says there have been 3 versions of Scooby-Doo in the last 10 years.
But who's watching it? That's not my question. Isn't if they're still making it. Are people actually watching it? That's the question.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? What else you got to talk about, buddy?
What else is there?
Got about 10 minutes left here.
10 minutes left here. Man, I had like a whole bunch of stuff, and we kind of just like rolled everything into one.
That's how we do it here.
That's how we do it here.
Don't forget, go to oneshot.straylogic.com. And don't forget, coming up next is Cookie Quest. And on Cookie Quest, you're going to be helping Lucas find clues to solve the mystery of what is this image. This Cookie Quest is in Santa Monica, and it was put together by Malika, who skipped out on my birthday festivities last night to just drive to Santa Monica and take her own pictures so you couldn't reverse image search things, because I made one comment about that, and she decided to just be proactive.
I felt so bad. So we ended up getting Zach a cake yesterday. First of all, he couldn't eat it because it was chocolate. I've ruined that.
I didn't want to say anything, man.
I know. And then second of all, okay, so I sent Emily upstairs. I was like, go get it ready, get Lucas and Malika, and we'll sing happy birthday, and we'll have the cake. They come down, they start singing, and I see Emily walk through with the cake. 5 seconds later, I see Lucas walk in, and we're sitting, and the door closes. I'm like, where's Malika? She's gone. I was like, what? Shit. Just left. All right. So it was good.
Speaking of which, you have a whole lot of ice cream cake up there to eat.
And I have Matt's pie.
Oh, my God.
Goodbye, everybody. I'll see you next week. I would love to actually talk about this Unreal Engine 5.
You want to talk about Unreal Engine 5, huh?
Adam
wants to talk about video games.
Well, not just video games, but I think like the tech itself.
The tech itself,
is fucking crazy.
Just like the Crytek engine, I think you're gonna find that people start using these engines for. Well, I mean, they already are. Doesn't Mandalorian use the Unreal engine?
Yes.
Yeah. They're gonna start using.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
They're gonna be using these engines for movies.
Yeah.
It's gonna cross away from just video games. It's gonna be used in VFX for sure.
And we talk about this a lot. We talk about quite a bit of like, how do you utilize modern technology to help support film productions moving forward in the future with everything that's happened. And I think like seeing the Unreal Engine and seeing what it can do, and this is for video games, and we've seen bits and pieces of what it's done for The Mandalorian. I really do hope that there's an episode of Disney Gallery that's dedicated to the tech, because I really, really want to see a breakdown of like how they're doing it and what the process is like to take those raw images into a computer and have the visual effects team, the post-production team clean that up to make it look like it's a fully functioning environment. Because holy shit.
Yeah, what was that? An Unreal live stream today was showing off some of the new tech that they claim was live in-game engine footage available for the PlayStation 5 dev kit. So anyone with that dev kit could open this demo and play this game as if it was an actual game. Maybe that's true. So people are known in these to stretch and fib a little bit and do like a vertical slice, which, I mean, a demo is a vertical slice for sure, where they're just putting their best foot forward on a very linear path.
It's like a movie trailer. You're putting all your eggs into that basket.
I mean, as you can see here in that trailer, which, I mean, honestly, you're seeing a 6,000 kilobyte stream.
Let me
like zoom
scroll
forward there.
past it there.
So, on a 6,000 kilobyte stream, it's not going to look as good as if you were watching it on your own on YouTube, which you should do.
Maybe I shouldn't have changed it to 4K. Well, we'll see how that looks.
It looks photorealistic.
Yeah.
That looks like a movie. That looks like a fucking movie.
Yeah. It's kind of fucking crazy.
And that's a PS5.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Oh my God. Well, I think again, that to me is one of the most impressive things. And when I first discovered the Unreal, so it's going to skip a little probably because I'm on 4K and I'm on wireless, and we're running it HDMI to the computer. That was the most mind-blowing thing that I discovered about the Unreal Engine when I saw the behind-the-scenes breakdown, not of The Mandalorian, but of a shoot that they were doing on a soundstage of a guy in a motorcycle.
Yeah, the motorcycle one.
It was mind-blowing to me how they were just moving the background around with just a hand controller and showing you all the potential opportunities that it could do.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is going to be used, I think, a lot.
I'm going to skip ahead here a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see if it catches up to you. Good old Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I've got Windows updates running, so if you're on Hyperhouse, it's going to run a little slow, probably.
I'm gonna downscale my my quality there just a skosh.
So yeah, that is for you. Just let me know when you're good.
Yeah,
it's
I'm good.
The PS5 dev kit engine there.
Yeah. Look at that hair.
And some of these things that you're seeing, I've kind of already seen in PC graphics.
Yeah, for sure.
But the textures are fucking unreal on those rocks.
Yeah, it looks like. I mean, okay, I admittedly will say this. It looks like obviously a CG character, but the walking in a real life environment that's like a virtual camera following her. If you were to tell me that this was a person walking through a volume with a virtual camera, I'd believe it.
I still feel like one of the biggest you can take stills. Okay, for instance, Emily was sharing stills from the Mafia remaster that's coming out. Those games looked beautiful when they came out, and the stills looked absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
So many of these games, you can pause at any moment, and they look better paused than in movement.
For sure.
And I think the next big step for me for next gen...
Bro, this right here, I almost shit myself when I saw this.
I know. I think the next big step for next gen is movement. And her movement through here is phenomenal.
Give me a fucking Superman game already. This is literally Superman right here. This is so fucking cool. I want this as a Superman game. This is literally leaping tall buildings in a single bound.
Yep.
So fucking cool.
It's pretty great.
I don't even know what this game is, but I want to buy it.
Well, it's not a game.
Oh, it's just like a demo of the system.
It's a tech demo that comes with the dev kit to show off the Unreal system, because Unreal's trying to make developers use their systems to make their games. But
so cool.
I feel like for me, what I want to see in next gen is some advancements, and I know they're always happening, but it doesn't get talked about as much, in the motion capture technology, like Hellblade and stuff like that, where they're advancing these in a way that makes the movement so much more natural. And how do you do that and still make it feel like a video game? I feel like when we did Death Stranding, which the only reason I'm holding off on now is we're so close to the PC release. I'm like, I'm just going to play that shit on PC, yo. I'm a PC gamer.
Yeah.
Let's wait for the PC. That one was really great. The motion capture was phenomenal in it. But when you're playing the game, of course, you're just like, go and then turn. And then, the NPCs do similar stuff. And I think, to me, the next part of next gen is making those NPCs move and act in a way that feels natural and very otherworldly and smooth. I'm excited for that, and to see where that extra processing power can be put towards that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, to me, it's not all about photorealism.
Right. It's not.
It's just how the world interacts with itself.
Yeah. The photorealism is like the icing on the cake, but it is definitely how does as a player, how do you interact with the environment, and how does the environment interact back with you?
Yeah.
I think is like very, very, very interesting. But it looks amazing. I mean, I know I've said this a lot, but I have bought new consoles for the sole purpose of watching movies, basically.
Yeah.
But when I come across certain games like Spider-Man, for example, that is so incredibly well designed and well made and so fun to experience, and I love the very like open worldness to that game. When I see something like this gets me hyped because like all those things that I love, those franchises or even like types of stories, I want to see that explored with this technology. And I know for me, for example, it's at a very basic level of my understanding of video games, but I'm still that person who's like, man, what if they made like a fucking Halloween free roaming game where you got to like play Laurie Strode and you have to fight Michael Myers or try to defeat him or whatever, or a Superman game or an Iron Man game or Captain America, like whoever it is,
Right.
Because I think it would look and feel so cinematic, and I think it would be such an amazing experience to get to be that person and get to make those decisions on behalf of the character and to see how those decisions sort of like ring out to the rest of the world and how it changes the world. That's I think what I loved about that Spider-Man game so much was like everything you did had a purpose and there was an objective to everything.
Yeah.
But
it still had a couple of its like
of course
standard sneak missions and stuff that you're like, oh, okay,
which like a lot of games do.
Yeah.
But I would love to see. Oh my God, can you imagine if we got an open world like Mandalorian game?
That would be
fucking
dope.
Tight.
Dope.
But yeah, it's just like very exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing more from this. And I think probably the most mind-blowing thing that I got that Emily texted me about yesterday was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was getting remastered.
And
I'm like, yeah, dude.
Did you watch the trailer?
Hell yeah, I did. Are you kidding me? It was fucking awesome.
It's pretty good.
All I'm missing from my childhood is Twisted Metal, and I will literally never leave my room. I will play those games forever. I will just do back-to-back binges of Crash Bandicoot, Tony Hawk, and Twisted Metal. Holy shit, man.
You gotta get with the times, man. New games have come out since then.
Nah, dude, I'm good.
Like, new games have come out, bro.
Jedi Fallen Order, though, that's one I want to play more of. I've only played a little bit with you, but I would love to get that and play that a lot more.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I think, like, I'm still kind of like teetering between. I haven't had anything that's really fully hooked me yet. Spider-Man has probably been the closest thing that's like hooked me. I have played some games that are very like open world and story driven, and I've become bored quickly. But I would love to play more of Jedi Fallen Order because being a Star Wars fan, I know I would get sucked into it. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what else we get from this future technology, not just on a gaming side. Also, like I think just in the entertainment industry in general, how is this going to change filmmaking?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be, and how are filmmakers going to use this to maybe like dive into other things? Like, I don't know, spitballing, but what if we did see a filmmaker make a video game to this like level? It would be fucking crazy.
I mean, there's always talk.
Yeah.
And they've done collaborations and things like that.
Video gamer, I think a lot of people who make video games like this, like they are filmmakers of their own genre.
The big issue is,
or their own medium.
A lot of filmmakers don't want. It needs to be somebody like Cameron, because a lot of filmmakers don't want to sign themselves up for how fucking long it takes.
Yeah. It's a forever process.
It's fucking years to do a AAA game. You're looking at 4 to 5 years.
It's a big time commitment.
It's a huge commitment. And I think it would take a lot to pull somebody onto a project like that.
Yeah.
So we have a lot more content coming for you today.
Yeah.
This is just the start. We got started late today, but we got a lot more coming. We got Cookie Quest in Santa Monica. If you've never been to Santa Monica, it's a beautiful city. Beautiful. Technically not Los Angeles.
Yeah.
It's not a neighborhood.
Yeah.
It is Santa Monica. Mm-hmm. It's its own little city within Los Angeles County.
It gets confusing.
It does.
It gets confusing.
Beverly Hills, Santa Monica.
Yeah.
But Venice is in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So it's like.
The county's enormous.
It's huge. Yesterday when we were out in the desert,
are you kidding me?
We were hours away from LA. We're out in the desert, and we just go by a sign that says "Now entering Los Angeles County." And
we're like, "What the hell?
Holy shit!"
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
Wild, absolutely wild. But you guys should stick around. It's gonna be really, really fun. He's gonna need your help, just like Monday. You can be tipping with extra challenges. These will be available on our one-shot store. You'll be able to go to oneshot.straylogic.com, and you can give him extra challenges that he has to complete if he wants to get up to 3,000 points, he's going to need to do it. He's going to need to do it.
Yeah.
Chances are Malika set the game up wrong, and he's going to have extra points anyway, because I don't think she realized that we put the audience extra points in there.
We'll find
out. But he's going to need your help, and those extra challenges are really fun. Like, he's got to slam dunk trash.
As one does.
He's got to find a Tesla. Yeah, it's a solo cookie quest today. Nobody else was available, but he'll have some fun, and you guys will have fun. So don't go anywhere. We're going to show you a couple ads really quick. Watch these, watch our schedule and our clips. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Right back. Don't go anywhere.